Welcome back to The Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime. Anime Review episode number 5. Like with the first episode, 3 episodes this time. Yep. These episodes were introduced to 2 new species this one. Actually 3. Actually 7. We're introduced to orcs, ogres, kanjin, lizard men. Yes. Not the first series I come across where they're lizard men. The most noteworthy one I've come across is, of course, Overlord. Yes, that was the first series I came across, Lizardmen in anime. If I remember correctly, I don't think there's been any other anime I can think of. I think this may have been the second one I come across where we have Lizardmen. Ogres, as far as I can tell for them, I've counted them. I've seen them a few times in anime. I've seen them in Goblin Slayer. I believe also Overlord had him too. You might be thinking, does my smartphone have an ogre? Nope. Data Freya. Which I'll do that next, by the way. No, not that I can think of. Nope, they haven't come across them yet. Not even freaking dragons. Well, yeah, anyways. Yep, so we started out basically with Rimuru doing a hunting expedition, say a group of hunting expedition, until attacked by 6 ogres, who, by the way, do not have names, but one of the women is referred to as a princess. Now, they don't have names because they're monsters. So Rimuru briefly fights them, and one of them does chop off his arm, of course, when he's in human form. He spends a lot of time in human form in these episodes. Yes. Brief fights him, and then, of course, tells him to calm down, and, of course, they come back to the village, no problem. Of course, before this, he goes back to the Ceiling Cave. First time since episode 2. Yes, first time since episode 2 he's gone back to this cave. Because that's when he left the cave, episode 2. He goes back to it 7 episodes later. Look about, and apparently the mask he got from Shia, the one who died last episode, who also unintentionally gave Rimuru his human form. Yeah, apparently the mask is good for magic suppressant. It's good. It suppresses aura and basically walk around a human, no problem. And then, of course, he hears that Renga's in trouble, and that's when they're attacked by the ogres. And after some brief fighting, they settle down, and of course they agree to talk to each other. After basically a bit, though Renga is told, the one with the pink hair, don't kill her. Just make sure she's not personally harmed. Because I think he suspects basically she's pretty much innocent. Well, yeah, everyone else try to fight him when he's in a slime form. Then they all just meet with him, and basically he requests that after eating some food, that why not come as subordinates. Get names, and they all get names. Oh, don't worry about that. They get names. Now, what other names, you might ask? Well, in the case of, when he gets their names, basically, he actually is he gets knocked out when he does this. The red hair guy, his name is Banaramu. Shuna is his sister. She is a princess. There's also Shion, who's a big, tall woman who also sucks at cooking because her cooking is terrible. There's a joke later on. It's like if you fail, I have to eat Shion's cooking because her cooking sucks. Which I found to be so hilarious. Then there's Ankaru. He is the old man of the group. When he gets, transformed into Kaiju, he gets de-aged. Now, in the case of Shion, she becomes a lot more beautiful, and apparently also her chest also increases too. In the case of Barasu, Benimaru, I think the only thing really changed about him became a lot more muscular. He became less muscular, and he became a lot more handsome. His sister became a lot more beautiful. Her daughter basically de-aged like 20 years. There is also Shinui, who's actually, by the way, he's actually voiced by Ian St. Clair. and Kurobe, which I believe this guy, yes, he's voiced by Eric Vale. Yep, I can tell by the voice. Now, who voices Shuna? That's Tina Ballard. Yes, as in the same woman who voiced Happy from Fairy Tail. Benimaru is voiced by, I was kind of surprised to read about this, Rico Fajaro. Yep, a guy who I've occasionally talked to on Twitch. Yep, I have not met this guy in person, but I love the guy's acting. I love the guy's voice work, so interesting. The old man is voiced by Charlie Campbell. Yes, if you're probably thinking, like, who are these people? Well, now Shion herself, she is voiced by Michelle Regos. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she's apparently very close to Rimuru. Yeah, an ogre in love with a slime. Isn't that kind of weird? So there's also this thread about these ogres, these orcs. Orcs, they look a little different than normal. Orcs apparently have the heads of pigs for some reason in this series. Excuse me, they became so powerful that they pretty much nearly wiped the whole village. Oh, and the character Kurobe, who actually is, well, the most normal looking of them when he gets transformed, he gets along with the dwarves, no problem. Shion herself becomes basically Rimuru's bodyguard and secretary. Shana becomes a seamstress. Benimaru, I believe his job is, well, simply work closely with, let's see, his title is that he is, well, he's basically in charge of the ogres. That's simply his job. Hitaro, I believe his job is like the wise man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically be the instructor. Shinwei, the one who's voiced by Ian St. Clair, he is simply put basically the ninja of the group. Yeah, he basically does all the reconnaissance for the village. Not a bad idea. And basically we can go settle no problem. Go try Shion's cookie, which it sucks. And it's Gabato who eats it, though apparently later on he's able to be alive. He develops poison resistance, basically. Yeah, and then of course we have the Lizard Man. Yes, the Lizard Man. By the way, their chief is voiced by Christopher Sabat. Yep, Christopher Sabat, as in voicing characters like Vegeta, Piccolo, Zoro, All Might. That particular guy. Yep. As for his son himself, which his name is, I think his name is Gabadu. I think it's, let's see, his name is Gabataro. He is voiced by an actor I have met, Austin Tindall. Yep. Oh, in case you're curious, I do keep records of this, basically. For Austin Tindall, this is the 14th series I've heard him in. 14. Really? Yes, really. I think the last one, basically, for him was, Kegasan Lemma's War. Yep. For Ian St. Clair, this is the 20th series for him. Yep, 20. For David Wade, this is for him the 22nd. Sabat, this is 29 for him. Yeah, 29, which currently is the highest. There is one other species I will talk about in a minute, and it's voiced by another person. Now, Eric Vale, this is 23rd for him. For, of course, Sabat, he is at number, well, basically he's number one right now. Him, this is the 29th one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did hear some other voice in this one. One of whom sounds a lot like Colin Clickabeard. I probably need to look up later. But yeah, one of them sounds like Colin Clickabeard. They also introduced the Dryads, which that's a familiar species, yes. One I've seen pop up in several series. The Hidden Angel and Enter, Death March Parallel Rhapsody. I think that's the third one I come across. Basically, they're like forest drillers. And whoever is basic, oh yeah, the hot tree spirits. And one comes in the episode 11 and is voiced by Jamie Morteri. Yep. For her, 33. And you're probably thinking, really? You watched 33 with her in it? Yes, seriously. Basically, her business there just set up the next few episodes. So you have Gabash basically going around to various goblin villages, recruiting them to fight the 200 orc army. 200,000. And they recruit roughly about 7,000. And then they come across, well, Rimu's village. And you have Gabato when he fights him, and he beats him. Apparently knows shadow movement, which is quite interesting. He beats him in less than about 5 minutes. Reiku apparently is basically giant size. I was like, well, but was he always that big? There's actually a true form. He only uses whenever it was necessary. Of course, Geru basically is an idiot. He also is overconfident. He also believes his own hype. So after get beaten by Gabash pretty embarrassingly. By the way, it's like, okay, so as reward beat him, he gets a new tool from Kaijin. As a punishment, Shion's cooking, and Shion's like squeezing her. It's like so funny. Yeah, and the fact that she does this is quite. It's gonna be probably kind of a gag where she's like holding him and she's like squeezing him just for saying kind of bad things about her. Well, because she's a bad cook. Yep, I found these episodes to be quite funny, though I can't wait for the next few episodes. But next anime review is gonna be the return of a Freya for the first time in almost 3 years. Yes, the last episode that I did review wasn't 3 years ago. Actually, it was a little over a year ago. I'd say about 1 year and about 5 months. Yeah, almost about a year and a half. Yep. I'm definitely looking forward to basically discussing this. Mm-hmm. Of course, that will be episode number 5. Yep. And that'll be next. Okay? Next video. Bye.